Welcome to Sten Reacts back here in the Bourbon Bar. So today we're going to give a reaction to the announcement on this Tuesday, June 20th, that the Department of Justice has basically let Hunter Biden off the hook. If there's any further evidence of the left's takeover of the Democrat Party and the Democrat Party's takeover of the deep state, that thought process is now complete with the absolute double standard we're seeing in the Justice Department. So the breaking news today is that Hunter Biden pleaded guilty in a plea bargain deal with the Justice Department to pay federal income taxes, that he avoided paying federal income taxes, and illegally applying for a weapon when he lied that he wasn't hooked on drugs. Oh, by the way, got to take a sip of the bourbon. Got to do that for in the Bourbon Bar. Okay. Look, the DOJ says time served, trouble served, no further jail time, just a little bit of home confinement, and being on what do they call it when you're on just for a few years. So not parole. What do they call it? Parole? Is that what they call it? Why is my mind blanking out right now? But it was a sweetheart steal. I mean, this barely even rises to the level of a speeding ticket. And you look what they're doing to Donald Trump. On the other hand, he's facing dozens, if not the rest of his natural life in jail. And Hunter Biden is let off without really even a trial, without any real serious charges. Now, and then there's rumors that for a phone call for Donald Trump saying, hey, go down to the Capitol on that fateful January 6th day and assemble peacefully, protest peacefully, that inspired the whole January 6th riots. And he's probably going to be charged at some point this summer or this fall with insurrection. The same special prosecutor, Smith. Now, this Hunter Biden decision has a lot of implications. That's what I want to get into here with our Sten Reacts. First of all, on the one hand, it gets Joe Biden off the hook politically from having to issue what would be political suicide and politically unpopular, a pardon of his own son for what everybody would understand would be serious crimes that did deserve jail time. But because no jail time was part of this plea deal, Biden would never let his son go to jail. He'd have to pardon him. This deal is done now. Joe Biden does not have to pardon anybody. He can let the plea deal stand, and as long as his son stays out of jail, that's all he cares about. So he's relieved of that. But still, Joe Biden is going to suffer, I think, big time politically from this. His veil of innocence, his veil of saying, I knew nothing about Hunter Biden, my son's overseas dealings, his repeated saying, my son has done nothing wrong. I have full confidence in him and trust in him that he's done nothing wrong. That's all been shattered, right? That's all been shattered. The public will never trust anything Joe Biden says about his son again. Will never trust anything Joe Biden says about these potential overseas bribes that the whistleblowers are accusing him of taking. His veil of innocence, his veil of credibility is now shattered with this conviction. Even though on the one hand it's a nothing conviction for Hunter, it's almost a death sentence for Joe Biden politically. If this is true, all the stories about Hunter's laptops, all the information that comes out about that, all the information about Joe and Hunter Biden's pay-to-play scheme with foreign countries and the alleged bribery money, the tens of millions that's been paid, they can't really comment on that with any credibility before. Because once your credibility is gone on one issue, it's gone on all the related issues. These criminal charges against Hunter also raises the question, well, if he avoided paying taxes, what money did he avoid paying taxes on? He didn't have a job, at least a known job in America. The only money it could be was the foreign money. So again, I haven't. Well, everything hasn't washed out on this yet, but my reaction is, wait a minute. This, if he pleads guilty to avoiding paying taxes, then he's in essence saying, yes, I took in foreign money and didn't pay tax. And now, was it just the board money, for being on the board of Burisma, or was it some of this quote bribery, pay to play money? We'll see. But all of this, the hit this is going to take on Joe Biden, even though Hunter Biden skates, makes me even more convinced that Joe Biden is not going to be the actual Democratic nominee for president in the 2024 election. I think he's going to run for a while. I think he's going to technically stay in the race, and he'll go through the motions of having a few campaign events here and there. He'll largely stay in the basement like he did last time. Don't forget, the Democrats have a problem. We can't have Joe Biden step down too early, because then Kamala Harris will step in, and that's just as bad, right? She's as bad as him in the public's eye. Worse, she has a lower rating than him, as a matter of fact. So the strategy, I think, has to be Joe Biden's going to run. Kamala Harris will be tethered along with him. And then at some point into the primary season, when it's too late for Kamala Harris to declare on her own, Joe Biden will step aside. Probably for health reasons or something, but he cannot survive these scandals. He cannot survive the concerns about his health, and he cannot survive, more practically, just the devastating and horrid record of achievement that his policies have caused the economy, our foreign policy, our culture in this country. So I still think that Joe Biden is not going to be the eventual nominee, but he's got to play the game a little longer. The Democrats will force him to play the game so that Kamala doesn't get in. These bribery allegations, polls have shown, are going to hurt Joe Biden. Among the allegations and this admission of some guilt by Hunter Biden on related charges, well, we think they're related charges, really going to hurt him among independents. Democrats are looking the other way. We know that. The news media is looking the other way. We know that. But among independents, the polls are already showing that they're not going to give him a pass, that they think there's something seriously wrong. They think there's something to these allegations. And I think the Democrats and Joe Biden's team see the writing on the wall. He will not be the nominee. And then you take that interview, what was it, 10 days ago, that Gavin Newsom, the California governor, did with Sean Hannity. That's a sure sign that Newsom is preparing to enter the race. And he's trying, he is slick. Sean Hannity did not nail him in anything, even though he had all the facts on his side and all the record of poor achievement in California. And it's like Gavin Newsom found a way to slither out of everything. He is one slick son of a gun, I'll tell you that. Then the question is the Hunter investigation over? Is all charges, these foreign pay-to-play bribery schemes, is that just going to be on Joe now and the whistleblower? Or is it not? Hunter Biden's lawyers say, well, as far as we're concerned, this closes the 5-year investigation. It took him 5 years to determine that he lied on his gun application. That should take 5 minutes, and that he didn't pay his taxes. That might take 5 months, but it took him 5 years, and then they give him not even a slap on the wrist. But it's an important question whether or not the investigation is over or not. If the now, Hunter Biden's lawyers say it's over. The Justice Department says no, the investigation is ongoing. Well, and we'll redouble our investigation if there's new evidence. The reason that's important, because if the investigation is open, technically, even if they're not actually doing anything, investigating, they can stonewall Congress. The Oversight Committee, the judiciary hearings that are going on. And when they ask them, they said, sorry, we can't give you that information. There's an ongoing investigation. It might jeopardize our investigation. So I think you can have it both ways. Effectively, yes, the investigation is over. But technically, the Justice Department is going to keep it on. All right, the last point I want to make on this before we go back to our in the dugout mode and continue our show, an eye for an eye. Do you remember was it Jim Jordan that said that a few weeks ago after Trump was charged with these, federal indictments down in Florida on the document scandal? He said, all right, you want to play ball, you want to play rough, it's time for an eye for an eye. And guess what happened today? Just a few hours, right? Just a few hours after today's Department of Justice announcement saying they're basically letting Hunter Biden off the hook, even though he pled guilty. The House the Republican congressional committees led by, in the House announced they were going to release, they're going to vote Thursday morning to vote whether or not to let out all the documents, the whistleblower evidence that they have on Hunter Biden's pay for play scheme, which could even directly implicate President Joe Biden. So they said it. You're going to go after Trump. We're going to go after the Bidens. This lawfare is on. It's going to be nasty. And we're going to have an interesting 2024 election in the next 15, 16 months. So, in summary, Hunter Biden was let off the hook. But Joe Biden is going to suffer big time politically. Thanks for watching this Sten Reacts segment. You can go to oceanstatecurrent.com and right at the top under watch, just select Ocean State Current to see all of our previous Sten Reacts segments.